Thanks to PlayAsia for sponsoring this video. Coupon and link in the description to support me and save some money on your next order. Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's a review this time. Yeah, I finished Blood and Truth basically in one night, so I figured why not, let's use a script instead. Gameplay you're seeing in the background is of me playing through most of the game. I started recording at about 1/3 the way in and just left it on as I played. I'll try not to put spoilers in the footage as to the bigger set pieces, since most of the fun is in the set pieces. So Blood and Truth is basically the answer to the question, hey, the PlayStation VR World's London Heist demo was cool, can you turn that into a full game? Well, now they have. You play a fresh from the war British soldier whose family business suffers a hostile takeover. Throughout 20 missions, you fight your way through hundreds of people just doing their job defending an evil bastard. You get the general idea. So Blood and Truth is basically the answer to the question, hey, the PlayStation VR World's London Heist demo was cool, can you turn that into a full game? Well, now they have. You play a fresh from the war British soldier whose family business suffers a hostile takeover. Throughout 20 missions, you fight your way through hundreds of people just doing their job defending an evil bastard. You get the general idea.
Wait, Mum, I just got an email. I'll put it up on the screen.
Marks, you fucking coward! You're fucking dead! Dead! You fucking hear me? Find him. I want him fucking dead. Where's Kayla? Where's Kayla? We'll get her here! Now! You fucking can't hide, Marks. You're fucking dead. You hear me? Keats did fuck all to deserve that. You're fucking dead! Find him!
He seems to be a bit upset about something.
We need to get this under control.
All right then, let's get going.
Be careful.
It's cliche as hell, has plenty of silly British accents, and without really spoiling anything, isn't worth paying attention to. The voice acting is pretty good, it's just not got the best material to work with and ends up sounding a little bit over the top. It more or less just is a scaled up version of the London Heist. Everything you do there, you do here. From car rides to shootouts to little puzzles, just either on a bigger scale or multiple times. It's a big dumb action movie, so go in expecting nothing more and you'll be fine. What is worth paying attention to though? The gameplay, of course. The notable thing about it is that despite the virtual reality part of it all, it's entirely meant to be played sitting down, facing the camera. It's a relatively basic shooter by modern day standards. Move, shoot, and if you get shot, hide. Actions are always well within reach of a well-tuned spot, like reloading your guns. Physical actions like ducking behind cover to avoid bullets and regenerate health work fine, although you may need to go a bit further than you expect to avoid damage. And the game definitely has a bunch of the fun sort of interactions you'd expect from a scaled-up sequel to the London Heist, from paper planes to bottle rockets. The way they handle movement is incredibly interesting. You have a predetermined set of points to move between, which is okay, but the cool feature they added is strafing, where you can press buttons on your move controllers to go left and right between places. Thanks to this, you never feel particularly restricted by the movement systems in the same way as, say, the piece of shit that is Bravo Team. The levels are also completely designed around the 180-degree angle that you have to maintain with move controllers, so everything you need to see is always in front of you. You'll never be forced to quick turn to keep your move controllers in view. The level design carries on these principles too, so the idea that you never need to turn around is surprisingly natural, and everything flows well enough that it's almost impossible to notice sometimes. You carry 2 sidearms and 2 main weapons and you shoot the dudes with them, repeatedly, sometimes in the face. The weapons you get are simple but effective, 3 kinds of pistols, submachine guns, an assault rifle, 2 shotguns, a really cool sniper rifle that you only use twice unfortunately, and a grenade launcher that bears into too cool to use territory. There's also a minigun apparently, but I didn't put in the effort to unlock it. There are also random grenades lying about to throw and explosives to shoot. Killing an enemy with them turns on bullet time that you can also trigger manually for some great "oh yeah" moments. Actual gunplay is pretty light though. Most of the guns have similar amounts of recoil. Even the snipers can be no-scoped if you hold them with 2 hands. They are at least balanced for their respective ranges, so swapping weapons regularly is not a bad idea, since they'll be effective either way thanks to the decent level design. My usual loadout was 2 magnums and 2 submachine guns, and I just blasted everybody. Reloading guns isn't too difficult. Grab the ammo from your chest and put it in your gun. There's no real cocking or charging, it does it all for you, which makes for some quick reloads and very few breaks in the action in real gunfights. Purists to VR might miss it, but it kept the pace at just the right amount for me personally. Enemy variety is questionable. While there's not much difference between them, the spread is about 3/4 regular, a few buff dudes, and a random shield thrown in every now and again for good measure, I wasn't particularly bored thanks to some neat design in the gunfights. Their AI has a good variety. They'll take cover realistically, throw grenades that you can throw back if you're quick enough, they'll charge you, they'll flank you, and the layouts of the levels are pretty varied, constantly introducing new little set pieces that help keep the game fresh throughout the runtime. They do have a bunch of mini games and other things to help distract you. Stealth sections are a thing, although most of them are just find your preferred launch point for the next fight. There are one or two that you can go right through without alerting anyone though, which is a nice change of pace. There are also some neat interactions with the environment involving a bit of opening doors, lockpicking, electronic wiring, and bomb planting that take very little time, are quite natural thanks to some slick design, and are over before you know it so they don't get in the way.
Okay, it's safe. Now, can you get to the other side?
The major one that I want to point out though is climbing, and damn, it's actually pretty cool when you're hanging off the side of a building by one hand, pulling out a pistol with another hand, and shooting a guy through a window before he even notices you're there. The game has a lot of set pieces, and clearly London Studio had some fun thinking about what they could do with it. Even ones not related to the gunfights directly are fun, like the sudden DJ booth, or the museum visit that have some neat tricks that are fun for the time that you spend there. Blood and Truth has great pacing. It has a really good sense for when something has outstayed its welcome and is ready to move you on to something else. It's doubled by a good amount of physics toys. Some levels contain 2 paths through one area to add a little replay value, and a ton of hidden targets that help you unlock weapon add-ons and can be an absolute bastard to find everywhere, even with the always facing forward level setup halving your potential hiding spots. I'm willing to say it's the best looking game on PlayStation VR, bar none. When the download started and it was 40 gigabytes, I thought surely not, but no, they put that size to good use. There's a lot of detail in all the environments, and some of the surprise London vistas they put in look great, with tons of effort modelling things like highways and buildings that really sell it. Jaggies are there, but they're pretty well smoothed over. Some of the character models look fantastic. There's not much in the way of performance drops, and I only had one real crash that only required a restart of the headset. The game itself picked up right where it left off. With that said though, the game can be kind of hard to set up right. The camera and you need to be seated in a very specific way for this game to work at its best, and sometimes technical issues due to the whole camera and move one setup can occur, like it being hard to reload properly or some stuttering holding two-handed guns because of one wand blocking another. It basically made me give up on using the shotguns due to the fact that you have to cock them manually, and it can be kind of hard to get around these issues. Honestly though, it's more fun playing with dual pistols or submachine guns. The campaign is about 4 hours long. You'll probably get through it quicker on the cinematic difficulty, which gives you infinite health and laser sights, which are more or less 100% completion rewards otherwise. Honestly, at least half of my deaths were due to some bad timing on move-related technical issues more than my own faults, but the checkpoints are very frequent, so there's very little frustration in that regard. There are also trophies that require you to be on normal, so just keep that in mind. Once you have the campaign done though, there isn't a lot of extra content. There's an incredibly bare firing range, 5 very similar time attacks with preset weaponry, and the previously mentioned collectibles and slightly branching levels that'll help at least one replay. There's a big coming soon next to the 5 time attacks, implying more is coming, but it's a shame that it's so barren. Like, where's my grenade launcher or sniper rifle trial? Why can't I have a sort of proc-gen arcade mode with random rooms from the campaign? Why not a higher difficulty? Some of these are apparently coming as free updates, but with how long this game was in development, I'm surprised at how little is actually here. The options menu is surprisingly bare for a VR game as well. The default audio balance is fine, subtitles are actually kind of whack, being out of time and having later lines and earlier ones in some cases, and there's very little in the way of comfort options. The only VR game that has ever made me motion sick was the absolutely terrible Here They Lie demo, so I have a pretty good stomach for this sort of thing. Thankfully, they appear to have optimized movement in a way that I was never remotely uncomfortable. There is some pretty fast movement though, both through the air and on the ground, so if you're sensitive to that sort of stuff, you might want to steer clear for now, although again, the always facing forward design might be enough to soothe those on the edge of these issues. With all of that said though, I really enjoyed my time with Blood and Truth. The 4-hour campaign is bearing some tech issues related to PSVR more than the game. A really smoothly designed, surprisingly engaging shooter. It's paced well, has some fun set pieces and VR interactions, a decent amount of challenge, and it looks great. As much as I've come to dislike certain aspects of, say, a Call of Duty linear-style campaign, Blood and Truth doesn't trigger those same impulses despite being of a similar mold, and I'm finding it hard to find anything that I actively disliked about it. So in that case, I'd happily recommend it if you're looking for the equivalent of an action movie as a VR game. Let's just hope they add some extra activities later on so I have a real reason to go back. This has been Blue Maxima, and I will see you all next time.